Hello, everybody. Greetings from New York. And you know, I love to know where everybody is from. So feel free to put in the comment section where you are calling in from. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics. What is accent reduction? That's a great question. It was quite controversial in a recent training I was doing, which is why I want to share all the information about accent reduction here. I am passionate about accents. It is who we are, it's our identification, it's our heritage, it's our culture. When I travel around the United States giving presentations, it is quickly noted that I have a strong New York accent, quite unlike those in my audience. My name is Jayne Latz, also known as the communication trainer. And today, I'd like to talk to you about the foundations of accent reduction and provide you with tips to speak with greater impact. I ask again, what is accent reduction and what can you do to reduce your accent and communicate with greater clarity and confidence? I also want to share a very exciting offer that's going on this week. So stay with me until the end so I can share the exciting news. What is accent reduction? There are many accents that interfere with professional success. And you might ask, why? Why would my accent interfere with professional success? Often, it is due to lack of clarity and equally lack of confidence. Clarity comes from not always learning correct pronunciation when you are learning to speak English as a second, third, or fourth language. That is compounded by a tendency to speak quickly and at a low volume when nervous or excited. Together, these three communication challenges can cause problems in the workplace. You know it when you are not speaking clearly. You see the look of confusion on a listener's face. You see it, you know it, you feel it, but you don't necessarily know what to do about it. And why is this a concern? Lack of clarity can lead to miscommunication in the workplace, which can lead to costly mistakes and low productivity. And this is in research as new as June 2020. All of these areas can jeopardize your current position. Currently, all the calls I get are for people looking for that next job opportunity, career advancement, new leadership roles. And now is the time that they want to build that spoken clarity and that confidence so they can succeed in that new role. Research into communication and leadership led me to this great quote I want to share with you. Communication is a core leadership function, meaning effective workplace communication and effective leadership are closely intertwined. An effective leader needs to be a skilled communicator, applying that skill in relationships at the organizational level, in larger communities and groups, and sometimes even a global scale. So speaking of global scale, I'm going to just shift to the comments so far because I always like to see where people are from. And I want to greet Barrett from Mississippi. Barrett, I think that is the first time I have had someone from Mississippi. So thank you for joining. And Angelica from New York, of course, near and dear to my heart. You don't really see the buildings like you used to in my background, but that is New York. And Mubarak, thank you. I love anyone that is here. So thank you, thank you. And please feel free to share where you are calling from. But thank you for those kind words. With the development of clear and confident speech, you will get that new opportunity. But it does take investment of time and money, possibly money. You can learn a lot from YouTube and practice. So change doesn't always come easy. There is nothing I love more than when my clients tell me of their great achievements, whether it's a new job, whether it's a new role, or whether they've just been recognized in their organization. Are you ready to reach your next goal? Are you excited for that next achievement? We can help you get there. In this video, I will share with you three techniques that will develop stronger, clearer, and more confident communication for anyone, but especially people that are speaking English as a second, third, or fourth language. But everything that I share can be applied when English is your only language as well. While I am sharing this information, please feel free to post questions in the comments section. I do try to respond to them. And if not here, when they are on LinkedIn or YouTube, I do try to answer them all during the session, but sometimes they come in right after we end. So here's your opportunity to interact with me. I am here for you. And if you don't feel like asking questions, some of you may have read my story about how painfully shy and introverted I was for the first 30 years of my life. So if you don't feel like posting a question where the world might see them, feel free to reach out directly to me. My email and my website will go into the comments section. You can always reach me directly. All right. So, and by the way, you may want to go visit the website and sign up for our newsletter and grab a free resource. We have at least 9 free resources, including our brand new 10 tips to communicate with clarity and confidence. So visit the website when we're done. Grab your resources and stay connected long after this video ends. Let's talk about the foundations of accent reduction and what you can do to be a stronger, more confident communicator. I mentioned a tendency to speak at a low volume, speak rapidly, and poor pronunciation. So let's first talk about low volume. You might think that you are speaking up, but are you being heard? Or when you speak in a meeting, are you not getting the response, and then someone says something and they get the response that you had hoped for, and they said the same thing as you did? It's how you say it that matters. Are you projecting your voice? Do you sound like a leader? Or do you sound tentative and insecure? People with strong voices are perceived as having greater self-confidence than people with softer voices. I'm not talking about screaming or just speaking loud. I'm talking about projecting a strong confident voice. If you've watched my videos, then you know it's about remembering to take a breath. Take a breath from the belly and speak on that breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and count to 15 on the exhalation. And if that's easy, then go to 20. I have several videos that teach this, so it's very easy to practice, but it's really about breathing from your diaphragm. Your abdomen, your diaphragm, is your breath support for building strong, confident speech. And if you have a copy of my book, which is either Communicate Up the Corporate Ladder or Talking Business When English is Your Second Language, both are on the website, you will have great exercises for building breath support. Yes, the one I just talked about, literally building breath support. And in the books, they go, and you don't have to buy both because they both have the exercise. It's depending what your goals are. But you'll have more exercises to practice building breath support for speech. I don't want you to scream. I don't want you to yell. I want you to have that strong, confident voice. Number 2, we have a tendency to speak quickly when we get nervous and excited. Have you ever listened to someone who introduced themselves to you and you couldn't even process the first name because the first name and the last name just blended together, let alone the company? So I have a very simple name, Jayne Latz. But people from around the globe, China, Japan, India, they're not familiar with the name Jayne Latz. So it's just as important for me to deliver the message in a clear way as it is for someone who has 5 syllables in their first name or last name. So practice the power of the pause. Here's an example. My name is Jayne Latz. Did you notice that pause? Jayne Latz. I want you to try that with your name. You may have 3 syllables in your first name. First name, pause, last name. I promise when you practice adding that pause, it is not going to be comfortable. But with practice, you will be more impactful. You'll have greater control over the delivery of your message. Your message will be clearer. So I want you to practice and then let me know how you do. It is so important to give that pause because I don't know about you, but when I introduce myself, I want people to be able to go right to Google and find me and or my company. But if I go too quickly, they won't have a chance. Any questions about that? I saw a new comment come in. Abdenasar, perfect example, if it's okay that I comment on that. There's a perfect example of someone with a multisyllabic first name that would need that pause if they were introducing themselves. Easy communicating is the key of success. Yes, yes. And that goes with what I was saying before about communication and leadership. So tip number 3 is pronunciation. And that is so important because when we learn English, there's so much to learn that we may not refine specific sounds. So there are a few specific areas when it comes to pronunciation. One is the tendency for people to fall into an abyss. They trail off, they mumble. The other is not learning correct pronunciation to begin with. So let's talk about both. The abyss. Did you ever hear someone that knows they're getting to the end of their sentence and they just trail off? They anticipate the end, they trail off. But there are so many words that differ in a last sound, and if you're not clear and powerful, that message could be lost. So for example, tray, trade, poem, pose, bag, bat. If I swallow the ends of my words, the message is lost. So one great exercise for you is literally underline those final sounds, take the breath we talked about, and be sure that you are saying what we call the whole word, and you're not going into that abyss. There are many sounds that you may not have perfected when you've learned English. For example, the V and the B. Do you notice how different they are? V and B. We have a video program that really shows it when you're practicing, as well as audio, but they're so obvious. So it's important to not just learn, but then practice. Another very common error is the short I and long I, such as in the word bit and beat. Notice my mouth. Bit, beat. The long I retracts your lips into a beautiful smile. Sit, seat. Hit, heat. The more you listen, the more you practice, the more you will get those sounds correct, because otherwise there's so much confusion. And then there are many sounds that differ in whether or not you're using vocal cord vibration. And in this video, it's not about the changing of sounds, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but that would be the difference between an S and a Z, such as in the word eyes and ice. So ask yourself, do you even hear the difference between eyes and ice? They're two different words. So this is where I'm talking about learning correct pronunciation. And this is a very important area for accent reduction. You can definitely learn some awareness on the internet, but this is where you really need an expert to help you with the sounds that are interfering with your clear speech. You don't want people looking at you with confusion or asking you to constantly repeat. With breathing and rate of speech, you can practice on your own. The books I referenced earlier have great exercises for you. But with changing particular sounds, you really need an expert, because otherwise you could be practicing every day and practicing incorrectly. I always use golf as an example because I'm a golfer. One of the hardest things for anyone who understands or plays golf is getting out of sand. Well, I could practice all day long, but it's just doing the same incorrect thing. I need a lesson, and more than one, so that I can get out of the sand. So if you want to learn the correct pronunciation and then practice it until it's correct, you definitely need an expert. We've all, like me with golf, we've all had that experience of practicing, whether it's a sport or a musical instrument, where we could practice on our own, but practice incorrectly. And then we just get frustrated. And yes, this is where you want an expert. And yes, everyone on my team is a trained accent reduction specialist. I'm going to pause. I want to address some of the comments that I saw come in. Richard asked a fantastic question. How long should the pulse be? Can it be more than 5 seconds? No. In my book and in some of my videos where I talk, especially in the book, it really clearly goes into our strategic marking system. It's 1 second, 2 seconds, or 3 seconds. It's not scientific. The 1 second is where a comma might be. 2 seconds is where you might want a little bit more of an impact. And 3 seconds is definitely at a period. Because remember, people don't know, they don't see a period when you're speaking. The pause is the only way to let people know that sentence has ended. And now I'm going into a new sentence. So 1, 2, or 3. You could tap when you practice. You can tap your foot when you practice. But the practice is important because it won't feel naturally. And yes, Bibek, exactly. I wasn't going to say it here, but that is definitely an example. Sheet that you put on your bed is another one that's often confused. So yes, you can get yourself in trouble if you don't master the short I and long I. Love that comment. Zachariah, oh, my course is amazing and helpful. Thank you. Oh, I love comments like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And UG is here. It's always good to see you. So let's recap. Are we ready for a recap? And don't forget, if I'm talking about recap, I want those questions to come in. We still have a little longer, but I want to be able to answer any questions. So let's go over 3 foundations. This is not accent reduction in total. I like to give little bite sizes. As you know, if you watch my videos, some of them are very short because I think it helps people to learn 1, 2, or 3 simple tips at a time rather than give too much information. So in this video, I am talking about 3 foundations that can help anybody, whether English is a first, second, third, or fourth language. So number 1 is to use vocal power to project your voice and speak with confidence. Number 2 is learning the power of that pause that we just discussed, whether it's 1 second, 2 seconds, or 3 seconds. Learn the power of the pause to gain control of the delivery of your message and deliver it with greater impact. And number 3, clarity is important. Learn the correct pronunciation of sounds and finish the ends of those words. With clarity comes confidence, and they overlap with people who speak English as a second or third language. The confidence is so important. With clarity comes career advancement, raises, promotions, and more. And isn't that what we all want? So I mentioned a special offer. I hope you're all eager to hear about it. Do you get frustrated when you fail to land your dream job? Are you getting tired of getting passed over for promotions? If so, this offer is definitely for you. Isn't it time that you communicate your brilliance in a way that resonates with others? Does this sound familiar to you? You really want to ace your job interview, but you stumble over your words or freeze during interviews or presentations. You know you need to shine on the interview, but you tend to ramble and forget what you want to say. You look around at everybody, and everyone makes it seem so easy to land a dream job, but that's not working for you. You want to speak in front of an audience, whether virtually or in person. You've dreamed of it, yet you always struggle with your communication skills. If you said yes to any of these points, then you will be excited to hear about how to reduce your accent, improve your clarity, improve your confidence without a private coach. And you might say, well, Jayne, isn't it really? Don't you want to promote your private training? Of course I do. But private training's not for everyone. And there are people around the globe that need to improve their clarity, their confidence, their ability to move up the corporate ladder. And I want to make something accessible to them without doing the private training. I launched an online program. And if you can't get enough of me, it contains 10 training videos with yours truly. It contains the book I referenced earlier, Talking Business When English is Your Second Language. That alone is so valuable. It has over 150 downloadable sound files. It contains review of the sounds in standard American English, how to project your voice, and so much more. Each video has additional learning resources. I have put in so much content. It's amazing. So even if you don't love watching videos, just to get the content is worth it. All you need to do is go to reducemyaccentnow.com and get our offer, which is only good until July 4th. It's a holiday special. It's my way of giving fireworks to everybody. It's my bang for the next week. If you use the promo code that I think will be in the comments section, Accent Promo 100, you will get $100 off. The program's amazing. We've gotten great feedback. It took years to create it. It's really not just about the training videos, it's about the resources that you will get. So grab the promo, $100 off. That brings it to, I believe, just $149 US. One session with a private trainer costs almost double. So this value is amazing until July 4th. Learn to use your breath support to project your voice so you can speak up and be heard. Learn the power of the pause to gain control of your delivery and speak at a slower rate of speech. Learn to build spoken clarity. Learn the correct pronunciation and learn to finish your words. Those are the 3 foundations that I wanted to share with you here today. I hope I accomplished that. I hope you found this worthwhile. I hope you will go to reducemyaccentnow.com and grab your promo, because $100 off is a great amount. I want you to share any last questions. Otherwise, I'm going to see you in the next video. It has been a pleasure having people from around the globe. You are my audience. I value each and every one of you. I am thrilled with comments and feedback I get, so keep the comments coming. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and be well.